We had a guy on the show last week in studio named Action Bronson, legend. You know Action Bronson?
I know of him.
Okay, he's an absolute legend and a hardcore fan. He says he needs more demonstrations on the show. He wants more breakdowns. And I was like, wait a second. We have Josh Barnett in studio.
Yeah.
Islam just pulled off this Darce choke. Can I show you, we can't show the footage, a series of photos, and you tell me from your expert mind how he pulled this off?
Yes.
It feels a little pro wrestling-esque where you know he's about to pull it off. It's almost like his version of the Jake the Snake Roberts DDT.
Yes.
It's lights out when he's sinking this in. Okay, so let's start here and we'll get Josh Barnett. Okay, this is the give me everything you
Good. So you see he was working a single leg and he came up head on the opposite side, normally where you would see a double leg, using that high left hand to now shift Moicano's weight back over that remaining. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm looking at it a little reversed here. So he looks like he maybe has started with the double leg and he transitioned to throwing that high arm up. And now he's going to knock that head and his weight back to where his Moicano's right leg or left leg, which would have been his post, used to be. Now he's going to take him at an angle straight down backwards behind him with a slight bit of rotation.
The left arm being above the shoulder.
Yeah.
You like that?
Well, if you hit it at the right timing, it's an excellent move. But keep in mind, anytime you're trying to go split your attack or your attachments across two different planes, you run into a lot of trouble because your arms are not nearly as strong on their own.
Okay.
I always say long arms are weak arms, short arms are strong arms. But as you can see here, Islam has a good hook behind that right knee, and then whatever was happening in this transition, or maybe he went right to it, but at the right timing, as you can see, because Moicano's head's going backwards, that weight, that power transfer is going backwards. To stop from losing balance, his feet have to catch up with that weight shift. Well, they can't here because he's got that right leg, and down he's going to go.
Okay, next one.
All right, you see him finishing that takedown there, and it even looks like he may be positioning to rotate off to the left-hand side and get past Moicano's legs before they hit the floor.
Straight into side control.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if he does that.
Well, he might have.
We've skipped a step.
But now what we see here is Islam. So a lot of people will use like an S grip this way, or even a gable grip into basically what is a three-quarter Nelson. So that's really,
so there
the Darce choke is a three-quarter Nelson.
He's holding onto his wrist, his forearm.
So instead of going here, he's shooting that arm across as a bar and just locking on it this way and underneath. Or actually, I'm sorry, this way and underneath. So as this arm, it is this way, boom, like this, and he's locking on this thing, and he's, by grabbing this part of your forearm, it's like grabbing a bar. So he can put a lot of pressure down on top of this guy's head this way, boom, and use that left elbow and his lat to drive the head down with a ton of power. But as you see, that right hand is already in that V position, which means he's really trying to catch that neck into that wedge and get both sides of the carotid.
And how do you feel about the Darce? Is this what you like?
I think if you're a heavyweight, you need to have particularly long arms, and you can't be fighting Derek Lewis per se, because
Brett Rogers.
Just super thick neck and shoulders, which makes it really difficult to create the connection. However, it is definitely possible. It's not a move I use a ton of, but I definitely teach. But I think at the lighter weights, it can be an incredibly effective move because it's not just about hitting a choke. It's collapsing the head position, and it's giving you a type of control that you can turn a guy over, you can rotate him, you can move him. It's not just a choke. It's a great attack on the neck and the neck position and head position itself. And you can see Moicano's got his left hand out there, and he's trying to keep that extended so as that shoulder doesn't get collapsed across his carotid artery and cut it off.
Okay, let's see. Where do we go from here?
Oh, yeah, there he is. He's locking it in. And now he's got that bar arm, and now he's just working that left as tight as he needs to. And now he can work that right hand further up the arm and keep closing it down and closing it down. But as you notice, he's dropping to his left hip, and he's dropping Moicano's head to the mat and breaking Moicano's position, which is going to set him up for the choke.
When you see this at this point, you know it's all shoe-out?
Not necessarally, but knowing how good Islam is with it.
Yes.
Then
how can he get out at this point?
Well, he needs to start rotating, and one, he needs to get off of his right hip and his right knee, Moicano, and he needs to start getting to his knees and rotating and reaching up and grabbing for Islam's hand and bringing it down. The other thing he can do is start rotating, and getting so he's parallel with him or in line with him, and then you can shift your head and maybe find a peek out or a drag out of there.
Okay, let's keep going. I think there might be one more. And this is
at this point,
just about
he's all over the top of him. Now he's got his rib cage onto the top of Moicano's head, breaking that head posture and helping collapse his head into his own body. And he's setting that choke completely tight.
textbook, beautiful.
Beautiful. But it all came from, he basically broke him down with a 3/4 Nelson, smashed him into the floor, and then he was able to ratchet it up until he needed what he was looking for, and then catch that choke and finish it. It was beautiful.
Who is your favorite grappler right now in MMA?
That's a good question. I do like the Dagestani's heavy wrestling-based attacks with wrist rides and punches and simple like double wrist locks and 3/4 Nelson chokes and stuff like that. It's great to see. Tom Aspinall.
Wow! Look at this.
Because he is a kind of catch wrestling, lucha libre, jiu-jitsu derived guy who will drop back on heel hooks. Has good submissions. Of course, his striking has gotten him a very very long way in MMA, but I like it when I see him grapple.
Can he beat John?
He can. He absolutely can. The thing that I think people, obviously John is an incredibly gifted athlete and very, very capable in his skill sets, but he's really cagey. And that's the thing that being as good of a striker, wrestler, or whatever the individual area of expertise we may talk about is, he puts it all together well. I mean, like watching his first fight with DC, how did he beat him? Well, his striking is good, but he just kept putting DC up against the wall the whole time until he got tired. And then he was able to double leg him and do what he wanted to and take him apart. Up to that point, John's using his distance, his striking, he's picking his shots, but every time they get into the place where DC is within range to fight him, he just clinches him, puts him on the wall, and puts him on the wall, and puts him on the wall, and puts him on the wall. And I'm watching this going, okay, that's just having the kind of in-ring smarts, the sort of ring strategy to find a guy. Fighting Gustafsson the way he did wasn't smart.
Right.
Fighting what is his name? That light heavyweight who actually got his Reyes.
Dominic Reyes. Yeah.
Fighting him that way wasn't good either. But the way he fought DC, especially that first time, it was brilliant. And I'm sure DC didn't see at the time where this was going, but then when John Jones is dropping down up against the cage and double legging him, and he's like, oh no, okay, crap.
Demoralizing for someone like DC, right?
Yeah, of course, at that point, because it wasn't that he went out there and out-wrestled him. He used strategy, kept things in the vein of his better, his advantages with his reach and his striking, and then brought the wrestling into play after he'd been employing this wall and stall kind of game plan, and it worked out. Now, against Aspinall, Aspinall is a quite experienced guy, but could John Jones use that ring generalship to even take an Aspinall and make him look not as good as because Cyril Gane can fight, but John just went right at him, boom, hit him with that single, and immediately took him down. And as soon as that was the case, he just rode the head, and bang, there was the choke. Made Gane look like he didn't know anything. And that's pretty impressive, because even if it was a grappling match, I'm sure Gane would have I would bet that Gane would have asserted himself better in straight grappling than in that fight. But the way things got put together, bam, there you go.